Good morning. You're now listening to Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92.5 and AM 920 WGHQ, Kingston, New York. This programming is brought to you by our listeners and corporate underwriters who are interested in presenting local community radio. The opinions expressed on this program do not represent those of Pamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community Radio. Listeners are encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you. Mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. For more information or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. And good morning, this is Dan Gatus, and it is 7 o'clock a.m. We're going to be with you from 7 to 9 a.m. on this Friday, December 3rd. Wow, December 3rd already. 3.5 weeks to Christmas. And it's about 39 degrees right now here in Uptown Kingston, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Introducing the YMCA. What, you already know the why? Or so you think. Sure, you know the why for a swim, a workout, even a game of hoops. But did you know we're more than that? We're a cause. When you take your jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Take a cardio class, while kids are in an after-school enrichment program. Practice your downward-facing dog as a teen practices her leadership skills. That's the why. We work with people no matter their age, income, or background and give them the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive, all with one simple goal in mind, to strengthen our community. And we've got so much more that does just that. So while you might think of the Y as that place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. Introducing the Y. We're so much more than a place. We're a cause. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hey there.
What's up, bruh?
Hello.
Aloha.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. Hola.
Hi.
It takes a lot of voices to create the sound of us. The Y welcomes all of them with open arms. From career readiness to safe spaces, the Y is there, no matter who we are. Now, more than ever, they need your support. Donate to your local Y today. The Y, for a better us.
Read by members of the Y.
This is Cameron Rylands. Many families in our area will not have a happy holiday, and the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund will help them. We are asking for your contribution to purchase children's clothes, toys, and food for seniors. You can drop off your contribution at the Boyce Brothers Dairy Milk House on O'Neill Street in Kingston. Thank you.
And we're back, and you're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ 920 on your AM dial, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. It's talk radio. It's a talk show. And your number is 331-9255. Some clouds this morning, giving way to generally sunny skies for the afternoon today. High of 41. Mainly clear tonight with a low near 25. And Saturday, we've got 45-degree high with sunshine and clouds mixed. And Saturday night, a few clouds from time to time, a low of 27. But otherwise, a pretty clear Saturday night. Low of 27, and Sunday, 42 is our high for Sunday, and we're still seeing a lot of nice sunny skies, partly cloudy, with cloudy skies, more clouds in the afternoon, and then Sunday night we get about an 80% chance of rain with a low of 33. Okay, and let's get to the on-air studio. Today is a fabulous Friday with Rick Remsnyder, so let's give it a go.
Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Good morning, Rick. How are you? Hi.
I'm doing fine. It's interesting. I was listening to the background music. Sort of sounded like Leslie Gore. When's the last time you heard Leslie Gore?
I actually Shazammed it because there's a certain chord progression that's going on in that song that I really, really liked. And not so much the subject, but Leslie Gore. That was right.
I think that's who it was. I was looking at.
Well, that's what's really cool about Magic 92 is you practically don't even need to have the song listed because they are golden evergreens. All of them. Everything that they play are just evergreen songs.
Oh, okay.
Ones that have lasted forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, It's My Party, Judy's Turn to Cry. I'm sure you remember those.
I do.
Let's see. What else did she do? You Don't Own Me. That's a good one.
Oh, right.
I Don't Want to Be a Loser.
Yep.
Interesting.
Okay.
Here's one that I don't remember. Sunshine, Lollipops, and Rainbows.
I can't remember the melody off the top of my head right now, but I do remember the title and some of the lyric in it. Yeah.
Yeah, music has changed dramatically. We don't have those 2-minute little ditties anymore that...
right.
The golden hits of Leslie Gore. Anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. That's true. Most songs are an exact 3.5 minutes or up to 4 minutes these days. And, that's the industry standard. But some songs got in and got out in 1.5 minutes and were hits, major hits.
Right.
Like Sunshine of Your Love. That's 1.5 minutes.
Is that all that is?
Yep. And you don't even notice it. You don't notice that it's that short.
The first song that I remember that was a little longer than you can tell me what you remembered
Yeah.
was Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones.
Oh, okay. I can't recall how long that song was.
I'm going to look that up right now.
Okay.
Let's see what they have here on Satisfaction. Great song. Well, they did it on Ed Sullivan, and of course I need to mute this now, because we don't want to hear all the ads. It was in the area of about 4 minutes, I think. So
no kidding.
To me, that was like the first song I heard on radio. This is long.
That was lengthy. That's cool. Yeah, that's very, very cool. I guess a couple of the medleys that the Beatles did in around '68 or so. Some of those medleys, like She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, is a medley. That's within a medley of songs.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's, I think, one of the first breaks from doing hit wonders of 3 minutes, and then of course the iconic Inagata da Vida,
yes,
which was a hit record of its own, got a lot of play in AOR, album-oriented rock, and it was a huge hit, and it was 26 minutes long or so.
The only hit for Iron Butterfly that I can remember. But
yes, yeah, they had a couple other really excellent songs, but they they were shadowed by In the Garden of Life.
Yeah.
Inagata da Vida. Yeah.
It's interesting. I won't name the doctor, but this is how the difference in generations. So I was having some, I won't go into it, but so I did a Zoom call with a doctor. And so we were talking about, my ailment, whatever it was, a couple weeks ago. And so he said, have you traveled out of the area? Just checking all the, I don't have COVID. We're all good there.
Yeah, going down the list. Yeah.
So I said, I went down to Tampa to see the Rolling Stones. I went there and I quick trip down, one night, saw the show, back. And
no kidding, that was a couple weeks ago you went down?
Yeah, that was about a month ago.
About a month ago. Wow, okay.
It was a great show. So and he goes out of the clear, oh, wow, you must be a real music fan. I go, yeah. He says, I don't like the Rolling Stones.
What? What did he say?
He said, I don't like the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
He says, I'm more of a Metallica guy. I go, okay. Well, all right. That's no problem.
Not a problem at all.
Well, let's get back to the health issue here. We don't want to debate. We don't want to take up too much time talking about our different views in rock and roll. But he was a pretty cool guy. So
everything that has a little genius in it is what I like. Whether it's hip hop or conscious rap or country music or folk music or world music or healing music, doesn't matter as long as it has a little genius behind it. Because you can crank out stuff. And it'll hit the wall and stick, but it's not genius. When it's genius, I I really, really, it really moves me.
It's great the concerts are back, and people
Yes.
can go to them.
And locally.
Yes.
Locally too, we've got a few concerts in the offing.
Like what, for instance?
Now you got me. Now you got me.
Well, we can look it up at Bardavon and
Yes,
UPAC.
Certain performances during O Positive were already.
Okay.
We're already under our belts, and a few other October events were extraordinary, and of course the Irish Festival and the Italian Festival and all the music that brings.
Sure.
That was doable this year, and that was just really exciting. I practically broke down in tears just being in the Irish Festival and watching the kids dance in front of one of the great bands that always comes.
Yeah.
Almost in tears, because it was just so long that we had to stay separated and things like that, and it was just wonderful to see and be a part of that.
Yeah, it was nice
coming back together.
Nice that we got that coming back.
A little bit. We got to be careful.
Oh yeah. I see that UPAC has. I don't recognize some of these artists, but I do see that it was postponed. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, March 6, 2022.
Oh,
there's
it was
a guy
postponed.
that keeps performing.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he still has that falsetto.
Very good. One thing I'm hoping. I haven't talked to anybody at UPAC or Bardavon, Chris Silva. Maybe I should get him on the show sometime. I was hoping that they would follow up at some point the concerts they had down, the two Bob Dylan concerts they had down at Hutton Brickyards.
That's right. That was collaborative with Bardavon.
Yeah.
And UPAC. That was right. And that was quite an event. I did go to one of those. I think he did 2 shows.
Yep.
And I got a chance to see, I think, the second one.
How'd you like it?
It was a beautiful environment, too.
Mm-hmm.
It was obviously very, very cool to be in the same square mile as Bob Dylan.
Sure.
And it was good seats for everyone, and except for the people out on the boats.
But they didn't have to pay.
They didn't have to pay. And which is a cool thing when they have a big event there. People pull up on along the shore and anchor on on their boats.
Yep.
And just listen to it and party out there, and that's a good thing. But and that's that environment down there is just gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm hoping
It's
that
very gorgeous.
that happens. Maybe to get something going. Of course, they have the new restaurant down there and accommodations at Hutton Brickyard. So it's a great place to have dinner on the water there. I don't know if you've been there or not.
They have I have not been at the restaurant, but I've hiked through, and they have quite an enclave down there. They have quite the compound. It's just quite a well-run organization down there. It's kind of cool. The workers zipping by on little what do we call those things? The all-terrain ATVs,
right?
All-terrain vehicles and stuff, zipping by from location to location, because that's an easy way to get around.
Yeah, yeah, they've done it.
It's a nice organization.
Yeah,
really
they've done
is.
a nice job down
And
there.
one of the principals have been here many times.
Yes. So if this is Rick Remstein or anybody want to call, it's 331-9255. It's about quarter after 7 on a Friday, December 3rd. So I'm more than happy to hear from you folks. We have a great lineup of guests coming up at 7:30. We have Robert Selkowitz, who's going to talk about car rallies. And also he's going to be our quote-unquote ski expert. So we're looking forward to talking to Robert. And in studio from 8 to 9, we're going to have Jess Davis, better known as Jess Delicious from the Ulster County Regional Chamber. Looking forward to having Jess in. And at 8:30, we're very excited. We have Jeremy Robinson Leone, the owner of Moonburger. He'll be in the studio at 8:30. And So that'll be that's a hot spot. And who do we have on the line here this morning, Dan?
Good morning, Rick.
There's my friend. What's going on?
Hey, one of the longest songs back in the area was the Beatles' Hey Jude. 7 minutes, 11 seconds.
Wow, yeah. That's a long one.
Yeah, and in my case, it was 7 minutes of torture and misery because I hated the Beatles. And because back in the day, I was into Johnny Cash,
sure,
and Charlie Pride, and all those good country singers back then.
Yeah, it's interesting. Growing up, it was like in the 60s and the early 70s, it was always the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And I was always more aligned with the Stones. I thought they were kind of the bad boys. And I never would have thought, George, that I would still see Mick Jagger at 78 years old cranking it out like he's 35. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, so it sounds like you had a good trip down to Florida then. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it's, it was... I got to be honest with you, a little leery about getting on a plane, but everybody was, it was a full flight, but everybody kept their masks on for the whole 3 hours. You had to wear the mask inside the flew out of Kennedy. It wasn't bad, and it seemed very safe, and everybody was out and about, and so I wasn't going to let a little COVID stop me from seeing the Stones, so...
No, because you never know when it would have been the last chance to see him too.
Yeah, I'm going to be, they have some. Supposedly the Stones are going to have a tour in next year in Europe, but it would have to be like 2 years to come back to the States.
Right.
I just, I kind of think this was the last time. So, so while I have you on the air, I guess Green Acres closed last weekend. Sunday was the last day, or
he officially closed this past Monday.
Okay.
But due to the weather and stuff, he didn't even open up. And which was a shame because he could have got it a couple of days, Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
But I tell you what's going to be interesting is seeing what changes he put in over the winter that we got to look forward to in the spring.
I'm really looking forward to it. I know Brian Bonesteel has some plans to put in a couple. Well, he already put in one bunker, I think, fairway bunker on number 6.
Yep.
To the left, and I know he has plans to add a couple more because he has already signed up the Women's Golf Championship for 2022. So,
and I think he's planning on putting one either before or just past the 7th green.
Oh, okay.
So if you hit it real hard to get it over the water, you may end up in the bunker on the backside of that green.
That hole's tough, I'll tell you. That's going to make it even more challenging.
Yes, because it psychs you out. First of all, the distance you got to go over the water. It's almost like an iron green, but you got areas to bail out on.
Yeah. Well, here's what could happen. If you hit it over the green and you get in that bunker, now you're facing a shot. You got the water behind, looking you square in the face, and everything's downhill. So that's going to be a really tough shot if you're in a bunker.
Oh, yeah, because I'll tell you what, the way that green is pitched, there are times when you're just up on the upper edge that you just touch it, and it'll roll 8 feet by the hole.
Yeah.
And but hey, he's done a great job on the course and everything else. And like he's planning on adding a couple more sand traps around other areas, like going down the first hole on the left-hand side where we had that nice dry dirt patch. That's going to be a bunker at some point, too, he says.
Oh, great.
But, yeah, it's just what you need, because the first shot's off the tee, we always bail out to the left a little bit by that fence line.
You know what's really unbelievable is how about the size of the pond now in front of the 9th tee? That was like basically a little, hardly anything, and now it's almost like a lake he has there.
Yes, it is. That thing has grown over. We had a lot of rain this summer.
Yeah.
And can you imagine how soaked that area would have been if he didn't dig down and have that pond?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to have a shortage of water, which is nice there,
Right. But, no, he's done a great job and everything else, and it was fun getting out there with you and Dan during the year, too, to where, hey, we all enjoyed ourselves. It was a great time, and, hey, Green Acres got great help that works there and stuff. They do a tremendous job on the course. The greens and the fairway was looking almost pristine by the end of the year. And that's after they had the order rain in July, and the greens caught a disease and stuff, and they still brought them just about all the way back. So they've done a great job on their course.
Yeah, no doubt. And the thing, and you being a veteran too, George, the thing is he's so great with the community, and I know he sponsored an event on Veterans Day for all the vets. And how many vets showed up for that?
It was a busy day on the course. We got out there. We did manage to get through 18 holes, but it was a very busy day. He had him and Terry. She did a fantastic job as well. The lady that works there. At the end, they had coffee, they had juice, they had bagels, they had. She made up pumpkin bread, banana bread, homemade chocolate chip cookies.
Nice.
Which I definitely found those. But they did a fantastic job Veterans Day. Everybody enjoyed it. A nice day of golf, got out there. Everybody got a cart for free and everything else, and it was just fantastic.
Well, kudos to Brian. Of course, the vets certainly deserve it for serving their country and everything they've done, so I'm glad it worked out. Well, March will roll around before you know it, George, so we'll be out there.
Let's hope so. I was kind of hoping for a mid to end of December year this year, but it didn't work out that way. Last year we played on December the 13th, and then on December the 15th we had 12 to 15 inches of snow, which effectively ended the golf season.
Yeah, that'll do it. Well, all right. Well, I really appreciate you calling in, George, and have a great weekend, and talk to you in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yep, and I'll definitely see you in the spring.
Okay, thanks, George.
Have a great day.
Yep, you too.
Yep, bye-bye.
So we got about 7:22. I know my friend Robert Silkowitz will be calling in pretty soon to talk about his road rallies. But, George we get out to Green Acres quite a bit, and they've done a fantastic job with that golf course. And Brian Bonesteel has really turned it into something that is really kind of special now at a decent price, too, which is nice.
Ah, okay. And it's open to the public. It's not a club.
Oh, yeah. No,
right.
It's just...
what are the clubs these days that are actually clubs that are, in Ulster County?
Well, the only ones, Woodstock Golf Club is a private club, and that's the only one. Twofskill Club is a private club.
Oh, that's right. It is a private club.
In Kingston.
That's right, Twofskill.
And Wilwick is now semi-private. It's a club that has members, but it's open to the public.
Right. So it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I know they've done very well at Wilwick. The pro there, Lou Burbick, has done a fantastic job. And, of course, the ownership group there, I think they have about 10 owners.
Okay. Well, that's sometimes what it takes is it takes a team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were in rough shape, so...
good for them. That's great.
I know Joe O'Connor's one of the principal owners. I've known Joe for 40 years, and he's him and his group and the other 9-10 owners, fantastic job. Rich Croce is another one. So anyway, that club was on the verge of going under. So.
Joe O'Connor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's a lawyer.
Yep.
Same guy.
Very prominent.
Okay. Yeah. Very, very, very active in the community everywhere. Yeah.
It's interesting because I'll have Jess Davis talk about it. I didn't go last night, but I know they had a big event at Old Savannah, which Joe is the owner, the restaurant on the Strand.
Yep.
And they opened a skating rink down there.
Absolutely.
And I heard it was a fantastic night.
I missed that event. Could have, should have, would have. It was last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you hear that that was a fabulous event.
Yeah, I heard it was really...
Oh, that's great.
Great turnout.
Well, I'll get down there and skate.
Yeah,
at
it's
least,
something that... I remember when I was at the Freeman many years ago, Gloria Lipton an activist in the county. She's a great woman, Gloria, and she tried to get a skating rink in Kingston and fought like for years to try to get a skating rink in Kingston, the city of Kingston. She couldn't pull it off. And so the people in Saugerties got their act together, and that's the only skating rink in the Saugerties.
Right, sure. And of course, that is very sports oriented, you know, and it is primo for the region for hockey and everything else.
They've done a great job. You know, it's right next to Cantine Field complex there.
Incredible facility.
And before that, the only skating rink in the area was the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. So, you know, Saugerties, you know, got their act together and got the Saugerties Kiwanis Club. I'm sure that people are going up there all the time in the winter, so it's nice to have another option.
Oh yeah, they have quite a lot of programming there.
Yeah,
Greg's on Wednesdays, and he probably gave everybody a good rundown of what the skating rink's schedule is, because he comes on Wednesdays. And Greg Shorvis.
Yes.
And yeah, that's a phenomenal facility. And this, I guess, is mostly recreational. The one that was built down by Old Savannah.
Yeah, it's from what I understand, it's going to be open to the public. They have you know, skate rental, and so I know that Shwangung Country Club tried when they changed it to the village owning the facility. They tried it one year, a couple years ago, and it was an outdoor at the bottom of the hill by the first hole in Ellenville, and it was so predicated by the how cold it was.
Yeah, the weather.
Yeah, they really didn't have a great season. I know I had Jeff Kaplan, the mayor of Ellenville, on a couple months ago, so I'm not sure what they're doing this year, but that was another option. So we'll see if that happens this year. But like I said, we'll have Jess Davis, and she can tell us all about it, and we'll go from there. All right, we have a caller.
Good morning.
Is this Robert?
Yes, it's Robert Selkowitz.
How are you, my friend? Thank you for calling.
Yep, that's fine. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Robert, we're going to get into later in the year, and maybe at the end of the half hour, you can give us a little update on the ski situation, because you're our quote-unquote ski expert, because I know you do a lot of skiing. You haven't been out yet this year, have you?
No, but I did catch a post from some guys that were at Bel Air.
Right.
And I heard from somebody who'd been up to Hunter.
Well, let's start with that, because I know we want to talk about some of your upcoming road rallies. But what was the Bel Air Open? When did Bel Air open?
Well, I'm not sure. Probably just, a few days ago with the man-made snow, and there was, a picture up at the top. There was, some older guys, graybeard guys in the gondola. They took a group picture, and without masks. And, last year we were all skiing with masks all year. I put my boots on in the parking lot, never went in the lodge. It was a different year.
So this year you're not gonna have to ski with masks on.
But it kept my face warm, and wasn't so bad. I didn't have icicles forming on my mustache.
Well, okay. Well, there was a benefit to that.
Yeah, I might keep it up, and but at least now we're vaccinated and boosted, and it's like. It's just trying to keep your life on a normal pace, but still be, responsible and cautious.
Right. Well, I know that the season will be in full swing pretty soon when this weather stays cold. Of course, Monday we have 61 degrees coming up, so that's only one day. So.
And we've had some really strong gusts here overnight. Our power went out for little bit of time. So Well, it's all subject to the weather. You get, they could build up a base and then have a lot of rain, and they got to build it up again. But, we'll just see what happens. Christmas season in the Catskills, it can be 50 degrees or 10 below zero.
That's true. Robert, we're going to take a quick break here at 7:30, and then we'll be right back with you in a couple minutes, and we can talk about some of these road rallies you have coming up.
Yeah,
Great.
stand by, Robert. Mm-hmm. Okay, and thank you, Rick Remsnyder. Thank you very, very much, Rick Remsnyder, and all our upcoming guests, including Robert Selkowitz. And you're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. Your announcer is Dan Gatus, and it is 7:30 a.m., December 3rd, 39 degrees here in uptown Kingston. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is going to help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDCP.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace. Learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Nina Poshupak. Once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Roundout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at Cantine Field and Saugerties. Thank you and have a happy Christmas.
And thank you for using those boxes for your, and also at Boyce Dairy Milk House. Thank you for using those boxes for contributing your checks and your cash to the Happy Christmas Fund. Thank you so much. You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, 7:33 a.m., and it's 39 degrees here in uptown Kingston, and December 3rd. Some clouds this morning, giving way to generally sunny skies for the afternoon. Mainly clear tonight with a low near 25, and sunshine and clouds again on Saturday. A few clouds from time to time on Saturday night with a low of 27. The high on Saturday during the day is 45 degrees. The low Saturday night is 27. And pretty much the same Sunday, partly cloudy skies in the morning, and a high of 42. And Sunday night, cloudy with light rain developing after midnight. We're going to have some rain. We'll wake up with a little bit of rain. A chance of rain is 80% overnight. And this upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Many locations throughout the Mid-Hudson Valley, one near you. Let's get back to the on-air studio with Rick Remsnyder and our new guest.
All right, we're back with Robert Selkowitz. I appreciate him coming on early to spend a half hour with us. Last time I had John Robert, we talked about the Catskill Conquest rally, which started in 2017, that has been a really big success. I know you've had 4 great years. When I was Ulster County Tourism Director, very happy to be involved in that and promoting the rally. It took me 3 years before I understood it was a rally as opposed to a race.
Well, and it's totally non-competitive. A rally, according to the dictionary, is just a gathering for a purpose. And
right.
But in the automobile world, it's usually what they call a time, speed, distance event, where you're supposed to travel at a certain speed for a certain distance, and then they calculate what time you should arrive at a checkpoint.
Right.
And the competition is that if you are early or late, you are penalized a number of points for, how many minutes or seconds or whatever. So it puts a lot of stress on the driver, and there's a navigator who's supposed to maintain all these calculations. And my rallies are non-competitive. There's no place you have to be at any particular time. So it's really a tour, but I call it a rally because it's a sporting connotation, and that's what we are, So actually, the navigators love it because there's not a lot of pressure, and in the case of a partner or a wife, you can stop wherever you want. We go through all the hamlets, and there are shops and restaurants or whatever, and so there's no pressure. It's just about the pure enjoyment of driving in a car that you love on the roads you would most love to drive. So, and that's what we have to offer up here. The Catskill region is beautiful driving, and we've got a lot of really nice, smooth, paved roads, huge infrastructure investment. And so I just, put that together with the tourism. The whole thing grew out of that Catskill Mountains Scenic Byway project. And turns out the history of the 1903 Automobile Endurance Run was the spur to creating an event that commemorates it without trying to reenact it. And yes, it has been successful. We had our 5th Catskill Conquest Rally last September 25th. We had 47 cars, and we're blessed with a perfect day. So, the weather always helps, make it a real success. And we drove up the Scenic Byway, up Route 28, stopped at the Cauliflower Festival in Margaretville, and then took a detour up Elk Creek Road to Hanford Mills Museum in East Meredith, and then cut across back to 28, and then over towards Franklin, stopped at Polar Bear Ice Cream and more, and we ended in Franklin, the Franklin Railroad and Community Museum, and some of the restaurants there. There's Yokels, and there's a place that's a favorite called the Tulip and the Rose Cafe, Turkish-themed, and people still rave about it. Everybody wants to go back.
Sure.
Now we're planning for 2022, and we have a schedule of really there'll be 4 rallies, and we're branching out from the Catskill Mountain Scenic Byway in Ulster and Delaware County, which we will run again, but our first rally will be the 2nd Saratoga ABC rally, which I run in conjunction with the Saratoga Automobile Museum. We visit artists, battlefields, and covered bridges. Then a new rally on June 12th is the Scahary, Turnpike, Catterskill, Clove rally. And, the Catskill Conquest, we went up the Ulster and Delaware Turnpike and ended on the Catskill and Susquehanna Turnpike. These were early chartered roads, late 1700s, early 1800s. And I was curious about the Scahary Turnpike that went up to the Old Stone Fort in Scahary. The Old Stone Fort has a 1903 Rambler automobile in its collection, the first car in Scahary, and there were 2 Ramblers just like it in the 1903 Automobile Endurance Run, and I'd never been up to see it. So one day I just took a drive. I went up to Catskill and up to the village of Athens and just started out driving on the Scahary Turnpike, and it was beautiful. Wonderful road, low-key country road, and 50 miles later I was in Scahary at the Old Stone Fort. Then I followed the Scahary Creek down State Route 30, past the Blenheim Bridge, which was reconstructed after it was destroyed in one of our hurricane storms. It's the longest single-span wooden bridge in the world. It's beautiful. And then the Gilboa Museum, which was established when they built the Scahary Reservoir and leveled the town of Gilboa. And in the course of the excavations, they discovered these fantastic 350-million-year-old fossils. and then Prattsville Museum, 23A route, and then Route 23C across the mountaintop to Tannersville, stop at the Mountaintop Arboretum, and then down the Catterskill, Clove, and back to Catskill. So, it's branching out. Now I'm working with our two northern Catskill region counties in Greene County and Scahary County, and their tourism people are excited. They've never had an event like this. Usually it's motorcycles going through. The museums that we're working with are very excited. When we ran our Catskill Conquest and went to Hanford Mills, we brought more people there than they see through the summer. When we go to the Franklin Railroad and Community Museum, we bring more people there than they ever see. So it's great because it's revealing these treasures of our community. People learn about these regions. Our Catskill Covered Bridge Rally, which we ran 3 times last year because we just love it. It's so much fun, you just want to do it again. We cross restored covered bridges with park amenities in Sullivan County and Livingston Manor and Beaverkill, and then up to Delaware County and Downsville and Hamden. And we're starting at the Catskills Visitor Center, the Congressman Maurice D. Hinchey Catskill Visitor Center on Route 28 in Mount Tremper. And for our 5th Catskill Conquest Rally, Senator Michelle Hinchey came to the start and got to see, the event, the start of the event, and see the cars, and spoke a few words. It was her father's vision more than 30 years ago that got us going for that. So it was, it's been very gratifying.
Did Michelle, State Senator Hinchey, get in a car by any chance, or no?
Well, no, she didn't. It's a question of timing. She had to go off to the next event.
Sure.
I hope one day she would be able to actually drive the route, and we'd love to have you drive the route sometimes.
Well, yeah.
And so continuing on our schedule, so May 22nd will be the 2nd Saratoga ABC Rally. June 12th will be the first Scahary Turnpike Catterskill Clove Rally. Then September 24th will be the 6th Catskill Conquest Rally. And then one weekend in October, we'll run the 4th Catskill Covered Bridge Rally. I haven't set the date for that yet. And that's it. All cars are welcome. Whatever you want to drive is welcome. We have a range of over 100 years in the age of the cars that come with us. We had a brand new 2022 Genesis G70 join us this year. And we have vintage sports cars. The Vintage Sports Car Club of America is one of our sponsors. And I should acknowledge the Emerson as a sponsor, and Haggerty Insurance as a sponsor, and Bob Siracusano from Sawyer Motors is a sponsor, and there are any number of sponsors. Our Selkowitz Family Foundation, my brothers are sponsors, and Ulster and Delaware County. Delaware County Economic Development has funded us several times with grants that help pay for the printing and publication of the Rally Book, which is historic documentation of the 1903 Endurance Run and our event, and includes a set of driving tours that are available to people every day of the year. You don't have to be available on the day of the rally in order to drive the route. I should let you say something.
No, look, I'm glad to hear about the new routes and everything. It really sounds exciting. The one thing that I think people should know, and you touched on it about one of the when your trip up to some of the other places outside of Ulster County. I mean, I really think it's good for the businesses along the route, and I'm sure that people are coming from out of the area. They're spending money in the county. I'm sure that they're coming back on other times when the rallies aren't being held. I'm sure that you found that there's quite an economic benefit with these rallies.
Well, and actually, yes, I'm accounting on that to the Delaware County and Ulster County tourism. I have a meeting with Lisa Berger on Monday, and she asked me about that, and So I polled all my people because I have email groups for each of the rallies, and I just asked them where they stayed and where they ate. And, we get a lot of people from out of the region. From Connecticut, there are a lot of, affluent car enthusiasts that from Connecticut that are coming up that have never been up here. And, the Emerson, there are many rooms at the Emerson that are taken. We take rooms down in Kingston at some of the places. The problem is usually that places are booked. We have a shortage of really good quality rooms, up in the mountains. And so, yes, there's definitely an impact. And like on the Covered Bridge route, we drive through places where, we go down Frost Valley. People get to see these areas. And I'm visiting with a fellow in Fleischmann's today that is an enthusiast that hasn't done our events yet, but, will. And we do get an economic benefit. People don't, I was just thinking about this. When you have, like, the Ulster County Fair, which is a huge event, but people aren't coming from Connecticut necessarily to go to the Ulster County Fair. They've got their own county fairs to go to. This is something special. This is something that, creates an awareness of a whole region that, people just aren't aware of. And that's the point, partly. And also, it's for our local residents. You have a lot of people in Ulster County that have never been over High Mount into Delaware County. And conversely, people from Dutchess County or Putnam County or Columbia County that don't necessarily come across the river to go up into the mountains. So it's all a benefit. I just had an inquiry from one of my regulars about a lodge in Tannersville. Would this be a good place to stay? And isn't there like a consortium of the Catskill Region tourism agencies? Weren't you head of something like that? I think Lisa is now doing that.
Right. We have, there's 4 counties. It's called the Catskill Association for Tourism Services. It's Ulster, Sullivan, Greene, and Delaware County. So they meet on a regular basis, usually quarterly, and pool their resources to get money from I Love New York. And basically, we pool the resources, and it's another area where we have money where we have websites for the Catskill Association for Tourism Services. We can spend money. The 4 counties, spend money to promote the 4 counties. So yeah, that's the 4 tourism directors in each one of those respective counties sit on a board. So I was president for a couple of years, and it's a really, it's a great group and something that help promotes the area, particularly the Catskills.
Yeah, so there is some recognition that there is, strength in unity and that it's mutual benefit to support each other. I sent the list, the schedule to Lisa Berger, and her reply was, well, it's great that you're doing this stuff for the rest of the state, but what are you doing for Ulster County? And, it's like, well, Ulster County is a bigger, stronger economy than Delaware or Greene County.
No doubt.
And, predominance of population, but also amenities and accommodations and things like that. And, let's see each other as a region. Let's benefit the region. In the centennial of the park back in 2004, the Catskill Center for Conservation and Development republished a map that was a giant regional map. And I took that regional map and I, with a highlighter, indicated the routes that we traveled in the rallies that we've done. And then I added this new northern loop, the Greene and Scahary County loop. And it's just, an added asset. There's no shortage of roads in Ulster and Delaware County that we've, have traveled and we go back to. Our rallies are there. But, after a few years, it's nice to expand a little bit. And it's also a case of cross-promotion. promotion. When I went into the Saratoga Auto Museum and collaborated with them, they have a mailing list of 14,000 enthusiasts. And so there was cross-promotion to make those 14,000 people aware not only of the rally we were doing in Saratoga, but of the rallies that we do in the Catskills. You know, the Capital District in Saratoga is an area that we're always trying to appeal to, and it worked. We had a number of entries to our Catskill rallies that came from that Saratoga contingent. So, you know, it's mutually supportive.
No doubt. We have this is Rick Remstein with Robert Selkowitz of the Catskill Conquest rally, which will be having the sixth one coming up in 2022.
Yep, September. There's a website at 1903autorun.com that we started at the beginning of the project, and that's our basic website, 1903autorun.com. And that'll be updated. And, you know, I post on Facebook in my personal page, Robert Selkowitz, Selkowitz. There's a website, robertselkowitz.com, that has my artwork and some of my other cultural, you know, enterprises. I think of myself as a cultural entrepreneur because I keep doing these projects that branch out. And we've got a few minutes left. Do you want to talk about skiing?
Sure. I know that, by the way, you mentioned the Ulster and as how it stacks up with the other three counties in the Catskill region. I don't have the figure in front of me, but I know that as far as tourism spending goes, that Ulster County was like 60% of the tourism spending bringing to the region. So that just shows you how successful the county was, and we're obviously...
Well, you have Ulster County tourism has a good budget, has a big budget compared to Delaware County, which has almost nothing.
Right.
You know, and so getting a grant for economic development from Delaware County to help my project, whereas Ulster County, I haven't gotten anything. You know, it's like they redesigned the flyer that you did. Well, in the beginning, you did the PowerPoint years ago when we first started. But, you know, there hasn't been any funding from Ulster County. I don't know if you're able to do that to fund projects or to project development. Most of the funding goes into publications, I guess, and the shows that you do.
Well, I know how persuasive you are, Robert, so I'm sure that you'll have a good meeting with Lisa Berger on Monday.
I hope so.
So let's talk. Let's talk about skiing.
So, you know, I'm not the greatest expert, but 40 years ago I was a ski instructor up in Andes at Bobcat, and 44 years ago I was a lift attendant at Bel Air. And so, you know, I've skied all of the mountains, so I have a good taste of their characters.
Yeah, give me an idea. I know opening day was, I was looking at the website, was November 27th at Bel Air. Talk about some of the benefits of skiing locally at Bel Air, and then you can talk about where else you go, Hunter, and I'm sure you've been up to Wyndham on recent trips. What do you like about Bel Air?
Well, Bel Air is really a great family area. It's a great place to start because the lower mountain is really a dedicated beginner's area. When I was a lift attendant there, I was at the top of the lower mountain, and you know, it's very gradual, and you're away from, you know, the expert skiers that are zipping down the mountain. Bel Air is really a two-stage mountain. They've been, since it went from the DEC's management, Department of Environmental Conservation, a few years ago it went over to ORDA, the Olympic Regional Development Association, which runs Whiteface and Gore Mountain. So it became part of a separate state authority, and they added a gondola. They're, you know, updating things, and they were talking about incorporating High Mount, which was a private area, a steeper section of that same ridge. They built Bel Air in the 1930s because it had the highest snowfall of any area in the Catskill Mountains. So that's when the state decided that's where it should go. Of course, this was before any snowmaking. And now, you know, the nature of Bel Air is it's along the top of a ridge, and it has a steeper area, and then it kind of flattens out. So for an expert skier, the first part of the upper part is more of a challenge, and then it's really cruising. So Bel Air is really a cruising area, and there's a lot of loyalty there because it's been there a long time. It was traditionally less expensive than the private areas, with chairlifts. So it's a good family area. I have a midweek pass at Hunter Mountain because as a senior, my midweek pass is a way to make this economically feasible for me to be a skier whenever I want to go. And with webcams, I basically tune in the webcam in the morning and see if it's a nice day. And if it's a nice day, I'll drive up there. It's half an hour away from my house in a show can. Ski for a couple of hours and have my day. But Hunter was carved out of the mountain. The Slutsky family had come out of the Seabees in the Second World War. They had the construction equipment. They blasted, they cut, and they developed snowmaking because Hunter didn't have the natural snowfall that Bel Air did. So they were told, no way you could do it, but they did it. And there were, I heard it was French chefs and emigres from Europe who funded the beginnings of Hunter Mountain, and eventually they ran out of money, and the Slutskys kind of inherited the project, and they developed it. It's a challenging mountain. It's a series of steep runs. They do have, good beginner areas. They do have extensive ski school operations. They've expanded, and it's gone through some changes. It was bought by a small consortium of East Coast mountains a few years ago. And then a couple of years ago, Vail bought it. So, there's been a lot of consolidation in skiing. My midweek pass at Hunter is good at several areas in Vermont. I can go to Mount Snow or Okemo or Stowe and ski midweek. Bel Air has taken the route of offering a ticket that a pass where you can go to Gore Mountain in the lower Adirondacks or Whiteface up at Lake Placid. And I've skied those too, and they're wonderful mountains. But, for me, it's recreation. It's what I want to do. I don't want to have to get on a plane and fly out west, which is wonderful to do, but it's not something you can do on the spur of the moment. And I don't have the budget, to do those kind of ski trips. So it's just, it's wonderful. The only real family area left, in other words, private, small area, is Plattekill, which is between Margaretville and Roxbury off Route 30 up in Delaware County, and up Meeker Hollow Road. They've got a couple of chairlifts. I think they bought one of the old Bel Air chairlifts to replace the T-bar they had. They do have some snowmaking. It's less expensive and less crowded. It's a little further away. And there are a lot of, devotees for each of these areas. Wyndham is comparable to Hunter and Bel Air, and a bit fancier. It's got a very good program for skiers with various disabilities. They have a very good program there, and their lodge, was beautiful. I remember I was there for Bill Clinton's inauguration. We watched his inaugural speech from the lodge at Wyndham one day. And I was just there last year with my nephew. And they actually, everybody was dealing with COVID in different ways. And they had an outdoor food court with some food trucks and some heaters. So, they were making it, a nice event. There was a big crowd, pretty sophisticated pass system. And, it's a pretty good-sized mountain. It's a little further from me than Hunter. For me to drive from Shokan to Hunter or to Bel Air is the same distance. And it's one of the reasons I love the winter here is because I am a skier. I just turned 70. I started skiing when I was 10. And it's just, my daughter used to say, I don't understand how we can keep skiing when we have no money. It's just, it becomes a priority. And in the old days, they used to have, like, Ski the Catskills discount cards.
Right.
Which you would buy for, $20, and then you would ski half price or something.
Well, Robert, we're going to have to, we've come to the end.
It's 7:59.
Yeah, so we appreciate you coming on the air. Have a great holiday season. Happy New Year, and we'll get you back later on in the year, and you can give us a little more update on what's going on in the skiing area.
I'll have some days put in by then. Thank you, Rick.
All right, thank you, Robert. Have a good one.
Okay, thank you, Rick Remsnyder, and a very, very special thanks to Robert Selkowitz, updating us on skiing and road rallies. It's 8 o'clock a.m., and you're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Many locations throughout the Mid-Hudson Valley, one near you. And it's 39 degrees here on this December 3rd. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Are you a renter or homeowner having trouble paying past due electric and gas bills? The Regular Arrears Supplement Program may help. If you're eligible for the program, you could receive up to $10,000 in aid. If you're behind in rent payments, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program may also help. Get the relief you need to help pay off those bills. Visit the Assistance Programs section of centralhudson.com for eligibility and application requirements.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Eleanor Arrow from the town of Ulster, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
And we're back. You're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, the home of Kingston Community Radio. My name is Dan Gatis, and this portion of Kingston Community Radio is underwritten by Sawyer Motors. Bob Circasano and the whole Sawyer Motors team are there for you at 166 Ulster Avenue in Saugerties, New York, 12477. And you can call them at 845-247-5027. Sawyer Motors. Saugerties, New York. Some clouds this morning, giving way to generally sunny skies for the afternoon, high of 41. And tonight, it's going to be a low of 25 with mainly clear skies. And Saturday, sunshine and clouds mixed with a high around 45. And a few clouds from time to time Saturday night with a low of 27. And Sunday, partly cloudy skies, the same, with a high of 42. And Sunday night, we're going to have a lot of clouds and light rain, 80% chance of rain overnight. So we'll probably wake up Monday morning with a little bit of rain going on. That happens after midnight. Okay, let's get back to the on-air studio with Rick Remsnyder and our new guest. Welcome back.
Thank you, Dan. I'm very pleased to be joined by our special guest, Jess Davis, a.k.a. Jess Delicious from the Ulster County Regional Chamber of Commerce. How are you this morning, Jess?
Good morning, Rick. I'm wonderful. How are you?
I don't know if I'm wonderful, but I'm better now that you're here because I won't have to do as much talking.
I know. I'm good for that.
That's good. So before we get into what we want to talk about, which I'm sure we have a lot of stuff, we're going to do the birthdays. We only have 2, and so good for them. They're both winners, Dan. Saturday, December 4th, please wish a happy birthday to Danielle Barry, an easy name so I don't botch it, from your friends and family and all those you so lovingly help at Wound Care.
Wow.
So happy birthday to Danielle. And she's going to get she's a birthday winner of the famous cow pie, which I still haven't had. But I did go to Boyce's Dairy Milk House for the fundraiser. But so happy birthday to Danielle. Who do you have for Sunday, Jess?
So Sunday, December 5th, we're going to wish a happy birthday to Pat Van Aken. And it's from her friends at the Lunch of Bunchers. That sounds like a fun crew.
I love the Lunch of Bunchers. I mean, I don't know who they are, but it's a great name.
I would love it one day if I had a friend group calling happy birthday to me called the Lunch of Bunchers. So happy birthday to Sunday, December 5th to Pat Van Aken, and she is getting a cow pie too.
Good deal.
2 winners.
So
Saturday and
yeah, 2 winners. You can't beat that.
Yep. Okay.
So I haven't seen you in a while. I guess it's been a month or so.
It's been a while because I think the last time we were slated to be together was the chamber breakfast meeting where Jay Riffenberry spoke. So I think I'm going to catch up, though. I think I'm with you twice in December.
Yes, in 2 weeks you'll be back. So
yes.
Great deal. So, by the way, how was the turnout there for Jay?
It was a fantastic morning. We were out at Wiltwick Golf Club, and they did a fantastic job with the food. It was a beautiful sunny morning, and Jay puts sunshine into every day. We also had the veterans there. The chamber partnered with local businesses.
If you came across someone struggling,
and to get them new honor guard uniforms.
Oh.
So they came and they wore them and on display. It was a really wonderful morning, and it always is when we're together for a chamber breakfast meeting.
I'm taking a flyer here. Is Jay's mom Dottie Riffenberry by any chance?
She is. I don't know her, but she is. He mentioned her.
Yeah, I work with Dottie. She's an avid golfer when I was at the Freeman, and I remember her reporting scores, and she was a member of Wiltwick, and was very active in the club. So, yeah, well, good. When's the next one for
I'm glad you asked. It's next Friday, December 10th. We're back at Wiltwick, 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m., and our guest speaker is Don Christian from SUNY New Paltz. It's his farewell breakfast meeting, so he's retiring.
Right.
So we're excited to hear from him. And then we also have Maria Tadero from the Phoenicia Festival of the Voice. Will be doing some singing for the holidays. It's going to be a festive breakfast.
I got a little bone to pick with Maria because whenever I ask her about coming in here to promote the Phoenicia International Festival of the Voice, she wants to do it by the call-in, which is fine. But I think the reason that she does that is because I've been telling her if she comes in the studio, she's going to have to sing because she has a wonderful voice. And her excuse is, oh, I don't sing that early. Well, now I hear now I got some evidence.
Oh, boy. Ward's causing trouble out there, huh?
Well, I won't blame it on Ward.
I think he bribed her. He probably bribed her because artists are normally not like morning person people. They like, and especially singers. So,
right, sure.
So
I'm only teasing, but
I'm sure there was bribery involved.
I'm getting Maria in here one of these. Well, we'll wait until we get closer to the Phoenicia International Festival of Voice. Artists are interesting people. I will tell you a quick story. When we were working with the late, great Levon Helm, wonderful man, one of the principals of the band, and really a hero of mine because I loved the band. They were just tremendous. So anyway, long story short, when I was with the Ulster County Tourism, through Barbara O'Brien, who was Levon's longtime manager, I was able to get Levon to do a video promoting Ulster County. And we worked with John Gill, the farmer, out in Hurley.
Beautiful.
And so he did a fantastic, it ended up about 4.5 minutes. Great video. It's still on this website, I'm sure, Ulster Tourism. So before we were going to unveil it, we were going to meet with Levon at his studio where they have the rambles, and they were going to play the video, and then Levon was going to talk to me about whether he was happy with it and whether we could use it. So this was all great. So I talked to Barbara, and I said, well, we got a date and a time, and I said, how about 11 o'clock? And she started laughing. She goes, oh, you mean 11 p.m.? 11 a.m. And Levon's not getting up that early. So I think we had scheduled it for 3 or 4 o'clock. And I'll never forget that Levon came out in his bathrobe and slippers. I mean, what a great man. So we played the video. And I remember him saying, after the video played, I'm sorry I'm wasting all this time.
No, this is a great story, Rick.
So Levon said, he played it, and I looked at him, and there was a crowd around, some of the Levon entourage, and his, I don't know if Amy, his daughter, was there, but I know that Barbara was there, and so there was this long pause after it played, and nobody said anything. So finally I said, well, Levon, what do you think? And he said, well, I don't know. I think I'd like to re-record this and re-record that. And so one of his production guys said, Levon, it's great. And so Levon looked at me and he says, are you happy with it? I said, I'm ecstatic. If you think So anyway, we used it, and unfortunately a year or two later he passed away, which is sad, but anyway.
But that's why it's so nice to have things like that, to carry on the memory and the legacy, to have videos and photos and highlights of people's lives. So nice that you have it, right?
Yeah, no, he was a great man, and nice of him to spend a whole day talking about Ulster County, because he loved Ulster County, his second home, and he loved it. So anyway, I know you went to a really good event last night at Old Savannah. I wasn't there, but it's the debut of the skating rink. You had a ribbon cutting from the chamber, correct?
Yes, we did.
Talk about it a little bit?
Yes, and speaking of Ulster County and loving Ulster County, I mean, to be there and experience, I think I said while I was out on the ice, it felt like we were in sort of like a Hallmark movie. Because Dave is simply amazing.
Dave Amato.
Yeah, I couldn't fall asleep last night just because I was so energized from the event. And from the moment that I arrived there was just so much hustle and bustle happening. He brought in a full security team just to keep everybody safe there, like indoors and outdoors. There were refreshments. It was a winter wonderland. Holiday music. Michael Dell was singing. The Bruderhof came in with their band, and they were performing. Some young skaters came in from their skate school and did some performances out on the ice. And he had live horses there. A laser light show that was absolutely magical. For an adult, I mean, I can't even imagine how the children left last night just feeling so much Christmas cheer. But Santa arrived. I think he might have came in by boat. I'm not sure. But he did come off somewhere from the dock area into the back.
Well, he must have had the sled, and, then he landed.
Well, he's very slick. So we don't really know how he got there.
Okay.
But my guess was somewhere off the water. And he worked the crowd and saw all the children. And it was such a truly special event. How neat is it that we've got this ice skating rink here in downtown Kingston, where it's going to give the local people something to do through the holiday season, get people outdoors, get people moving. But then it's also such an attraction to come on down, to come into Kingston and come into downtown in a season where it's typically not the busier season down on the Rondout. You know, they see that traffic through the spring and the summer and the fall, and then it kind of gets quiet through the winter down there. And these businesses are doing incredible things to keep the Rondout alive and keep people coming down there. And I cannot say enough about David Amato. He's so humble. He didn't really want to say much. And then I gave him the mic and asked him to say a few words, and then I took it back, and he said, wait, I have one more thing I have to say. And so I handed it back. He said, I want you all to enjoy the show. It was really for his community. It was really just a special, special night. And he put out all the stops.
So it's open to the public. How big is the rink? Is it like when you pull in where they used to have the wedding tent and all that?
So it's a temporary rink, so that means it can go up and down. And it's basically the size of what that party tent looked like.
Okay.
So how neat that you can use that space in the summer for an outdoor party tent area and for the ice skating rink in the winter. There's skate rentals there, and I believe they're going to take reservations also for ice times. But yeah, really super cool. Really cool.
This is Rick Remstein with Jess Davis. If you want to call in, 331-9255. We have Dan manning the board there, so anybody calls, he'll be there to pick up. And let's see, what else did I want to ask you about?
Well, I want to tell you, I forgot to tell you, there was the fire thrower was there last night. You know, the fire breather?
Right.
And tonight is the Snowflake Festival.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that because Nadine Slowick, who is working for Ulster County Tourism, I hired her a couple years ago. She does a great job with the trending and the calendar.
She sure does.
She wanted me to mention the Snowflake Festival, so I'm glad you mentioned it because it had totally slipped my mind. So tell me about the Snowflake Festival.
Well, I'm going to be going there tonight.
Getting overtime? Do you get over?
Oh, I don't
pay you overtime for all these night events.
Yeah, you know, all the big bucks.
Right. Okay.
But it's actually, even last night, it was a really long day, but it was such a wonderful day. So tonight is this annual Snowflake Festival, and I think this is the first one back since the pandemic. And it's in Uptown Kingston. Cuba, the Kingston Uptown Business Association, puts it on, and they are, again, there's going to be horse-drawn carriage rides. There's an ice carver. There's carolers. Rob Gaston from G Pro Media, he actually created this beautiful map of Uptown Kingston, and it sort of has like all the activities of what's happening throughout Uptown Kingston. So if you go to their social media page, you can see that map. I believe they're going to be doing, I think it's marshmallow roasting in Peace Park. So many
S'mores.
of the restaurants uptown.
It's s'mores, yeah.
S'mores, yeah.
S'mores, yeah.
So many of the uptown businesses are doing special things. They're staying open when they normally wouldn't be. So there's a lot happening, and I'm really excited to be going. Although I heard you say it's going to be 25 degrees tonight. I hope that's after the Snowflake Festival.
I hope so too. Maybe that'll be the lowest low. But, I mean, it's a Snowflake Festival, so a little bit of cold is good. What was I going to mention? Oh, those maps will be available at all the businesses that are open.
Oh, that's fantastic
yes,
to know.
they're all around, yeah.
Thank you for telling us that. I've got to pick one up for myself.
You better. Peace Park, is that little park that's right across from the Front Street Tavern? Is that?
That's what it is, yeah. I think Mentor Me is going to be there. I just saw on Facebook. So some of the kids from our community will be there taking part in that.
Good. Before we move on from the skating rink, I'm glad finally after about 40 years that somebody in the city of Kingston has come up with an idea of a skating rink, because you're too young to remember this. You probably weren't even born when Gloria Lipton was taking on the city and trying to get a skating rink here, and Dan and I mentioned it earlier. And her idea, I think, was to get it around Dietz Stadium, which would have been a great idea. It never came to fruition. But so then Saugerties, who always seems to be a little ahead of the curve when it comes to sports and recreation in the city of Kingston, there's my little shot for the day. They had the foresight and the wisdom to build the skating rink next to Cantine Field. So all that money that the city of Kingston could have availed and all the services they could have put for the people at Kingston, now they have to drive up to Saugerties to use a skate rink or go over to the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. But now we do, because of a local businessman, not the city officials or the county officials. I'm not drawing you into this. This is my rant for the morning. Couldn't get it together. I'm glad.
No ranting, Rick. No ranting.
I'm glad that Dave Amato and I'm sure Joe O'Connor, the lawyer there, was a little behind this. Joe didn't make an appearance to that event.
Joe was there, but Joe, he's very low key. So,
come on, Joe O'Connor, low key, please.
He was
I've
very
known
low
Joe
key
for 40 years. He must have been decided to give Dave the spotlight. Joe is not low key, but he's a great guy.
I think when it comes to Old Savannah, he takes the back seat.
Okay.
And but you're right. I mean, you're right about the skating rink. It's such a cool thing to have, and I was thinking about it last night as I was driving home, and there's really no outdoor skating rink. Those are, in those other cities, those are indoor, more like of a sports type of a year-round. This is like a winter wonderland skating rink.
Yeah, it's great.
And to be on the riverside,
Yeah.
Beautiful backdrop.
Well, the city of Kingston's always slow to accept progress. There's a reason that the Hudson Valley Renegades is over in Dutchess Stadium, which has been a huge success. They wanted to have minor league baseball in the city of Kingston, but that never happened because of, I won't go into it. It was 40 years ago. I'll let bygones be bygones. But we could have had a minor league baseball team here in the city of Kingston if we had some sort of leadership and acceptance of something like that. But they decided to fight it and it never happened, and it ended up going to huge. And now what are they? A farm team for the New York Yankees. Do you think that's going to be a big success?
Wow. And
do you remember that, or were you not around?
With Kingston's legacy of baseball.
Yes.
Is huge.
I know.
Oh, well.
Well, you never know. Hey.
She wants to get out of
I
this.
like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Look at the
but
future.
You never know.
Look at the possible of the future.
Never know what.
Yeah.
Maybe it's coming.
Okay.
But good things are happening. Look at out at Tech City.
Oh, yes. Good things are happening at Tech City.
Yeah.
Finally.
I know. I mean, I am here because of that location there. My dad was a young man in tech school, and they came in the building and said, "We have this opportunity in New York State." We lived in Pittsburgh. And
he was an IBMer?
Yeah, and so my parents, they were young parents. They packed me in the car. I was an infant, and they moved. We lived in Lake Katrina Apartments, Rick.
I'm very well aware of Lake Katrina Apartments, where I am now.
Oh my gosh, some of my best childhood memories are before IBM really expanded in that area. We called them the jumps, and there was woods all around in the back, and we had all these paths, and we would ride our bikes. I hung out with all the boys in the neighborhood, and it was when we were just free spirits. We would get up in the morning and go outside and play all day long. But yeah, so I was an IBMer's kid. We had Family Day and the Christmas show and all that good stuff. So to see what we've gone through and how we're rebuilding ourselves, and it takes a lot of time to overcome something like that, but we're doing it. So, you know what, Rick? Put that on your wish list for the Major League Baseball team here in Kingston, New York. We have some stars that have left the area, and they're out there. I forget, one of the young boys, he just signed with one of the teams. But
Zach Short.
Yes, Zach.
Plays the Detroit Tigers.
Yep. See, there you go. You never know.
Joe Assanio, he pitched for the Yankees, Kingston High graduate, as was Zach.
We have some talent in this area. It's pretty impressive. It really
no doubt.
is.
And speaking of talent, we're going to have a really talented guy coming in a few minutes.
I can't wait.
Let me make sure I get this name right. Jeremy Robinson Leone, the owner of Moonburger, which has been a smashing success. And he's going to join us in the studio in a few minutes. and I know you and I have both experienced Moonburger firsthand, although I'm not nutty enough to wait in line for the...
Oh, that's the fun of it. That is the fun of it, Rick.
That was the first week when it was like an hour and 20
Or like
minutes.
3 weeks. I think
was it?
I think it took 3 weeks for it to really smooth out. But Jeremy, I can't wait for you to spend some time with him. He is just an awesome human being. He has a really great story. He came from the corporate world. He went to college here at Vassar, and that's how he learned about the Hudson Valley. And then he was down in the city in that corporate hustle and bustle, super successful. He worked for this place called Group Gordon, I think it's called. And he went up the ranks there, and then he just woke up one day right before the pandemic and said, I'm going to do this thing. And he saw the Ice Cream Castle location, and I met him probably about maybe 6 months before his opening. And he called the chamber like he gets it. He gets the local community, and I'm excited for you to meet him. Besides those incredible Moonburgers.
Right.
Which I have to drive by that place every day, you know.
That must be a real hardship to not be able to pull in there every day.
It is. It really, it can be. And I live up the road, so sometimes I'll just be sitting on my couch and I think about it, you know?
Well, we have time to talk about Jeremy, so he'll be coming in a few minutes. Do you have anything else you'd like to
I do.
promote, or?
So we also, Professional Computer Associates, PCA, is sponsoring a lunch and learn with the Ulster Chamber members. And it's on December 14th. It's going to be out at the Holiday Inn Express in Lake Katrine from 11 to 1. It's a free seminar event. Pink Elephant is catering it, so it's going to be a great lunch. And it's a limited seating function, so we're going to have about 35 people attending, and we do have some room. We're just beginning to promote it. But it's going to be focused on working from home and how to work from home safely. So when you're using things like your own phone or your own laptop or your own Wi-Fi, all of those components. And I think it's important, not as many people are working from home now, but they still are. And there are snow days, and there are times when you pick up your computer and you're working in the evening. So I think it's going to be a great event. And with Pink Elephant catering it, I know it's going to be a wonderful lunch.
Great. Anything else?
I don't know, Rick. What do you think? What about you?
Well, the one thing I was happy to see was that we were talking about the Tech City and
Yes.
how I'm glad to see that there's a firm that's going to purchase the whole thing and clean it up. But I'm happy to see that a judge in Binghamton, U.S. District Judge Thomas McAvoy, sentenced 2 of the people pleaded guilty to federal charges related to the mishandling of asbestos removal at Tech City, sentenced them to jail, and they'll be fined. And it's long overdue that someone is paying for that debacle out there, where I'm about 2 miles from it, with huge piles of asbestos-laden debris covered by tarps. So I hope that this new firm, once they get in there, they do the remediation immediately, because God knows how many people might have been affected by that piles of asbestos-laden debris that Mr. Ginsburg has allowed to sit there for years. It's a shame. So I'm glad that somebody's paying for that. And on that note, how much we got before we take a break, Dan? A couple minutes?
We've got a couple minutes. Yeah, absolutely.
We have some good time today.
Good time, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. And I'm glad you gave me... I want to really say that I'm really happy that Dave Amato, and we'll give Joe O'Connor another kudo here, because I think that is something that's really going to be great for the community. and I'm really happy that it's happening. And as you know, my office, when I worked at Ulster Tourism, was down on the Strand, and you're absolutely right. During the winter, other than Friday and Saturday nights for the 3 or 4 restaurants that are pretty popular down there, it was like a dead zone. I mean, it was really like not a lot happening. So that
and there's so much going on there, Rick.
People. Yeah.
I mean, you have the Half Moon Rondout Cafe, and they are open 7 days a week. They're 2 crazy kids. I call them kids, but they're not kids. And the
donut place. What's the name of the coffee?
Half Moon.
That's Half Moon.
And then across the street at the old Skilly Pot, the Sasso siblings are opening a throwback vintage Italian bakery, and so that's in the works. They're going hardcore right now. They just got all of the funding that they need to do it, so they're looking to try to open in the next 4 months. It's going to be a bakery. A deli, some convenience store items, and I'm really excited to see that there. So there's just more and more happening down there. The Krupa brothers, the pierogi, they're down there next to Ship to Shore. Mariners, we stopped by Mariners after Old Savannah last night to check in on Sal. I hadn't been there in a bit. And it's really lively down there, really lively. You've got Savona's and Downtown Cafe. There's just so much going on.
Sure.
And what I see, yes, Samir was actually at the event towards the end of the night. But what I see is these businesses are coming together to say, what can we do to bring people down here and to keep them coming down? So it's the communication, it's their efforts. And they're doing a really great job with it.
Yeah. Wow.
In the beginning of spring, I remember talking with a couple people at the farmers market about a grocery store in downtown.
Yes.
Is there any scuttlebutt about that?
So I think, I don't know that there's a grocery store in the plans, but I do think that Rosie, the bakery, it's going to be called Rosie, at the old Skilly Pot, I think that they plan on having some of those items so that when people come in and dock their boats, that they can pick up items like toiletries and, canned goods and those types of things. And, that's things that are being talked about right now.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, there used to be a deli down there, but unfortunately, the high price of rent was right across from Mariners. Finally drove that woman out, which was unfortunate. So hopefully something, maybe more business, and be able to make something like that happen. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to be very happy to be joined by Jeremy Robinson-Leone from Moonburger.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jess Davis and Rick Remsnyder for this last half hour. It's now at the bottom of the hour, and you're with us on Kingston Community Radio, KCR, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, WGHQ, 8:31 a.m. It's Friday, December 3rd, and 39 degrees right now here in Uptown Kingston. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was underwritten by Sawyer Motors. Bob Circasano and the entire Sawyer Motors team will greet you at 166 Ulster Avenue in Saugerties, New York, 12477. And you can call them at 247-5027, 845-247-5027. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Do you know who that is? Who's that? It could be a clever thief impersonating Central Hudson, asking for your personal or account information, or an immediate bill payment. Beware of scam artists that can target you by telephone, email, or in person. Don't provide personal information to callers or open email attachments. Ask to see ID. If you're ever uncertain about an inquiry, contact us. Don't fall victim to a sinister scheme.
Hi, this is Diane Eastwick from Athens, New York, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. KCR's talk radio, the number is 331-9255, 845-331-9255. This upcoming programming is brought to you by Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25 or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive. And together, let's get back to the on-air studio with Rick Remsnyder and Jess Davis and Jeremy Robinson-Leone. Thank you.
All right, Dan, thank you. And before we introduce Jeremy, I just want to do a quick, Jess said that I should stay away from the rants. I just want to say that I am publicly chastising officials from 30 or 40 years ago for not having the foresight to do enough to be like a great entrepreneur that we're going to introduce here. The vision to start something like minor league baseball or an ice skating rink. We're not taking to task Mayor Noble or County Executive Ryan or anybody in this time frame, but don't get me started. So anyway,
Rick, you're on a rip today. I love it.
You don't know half the story. So Jeremy Robinson-Leone, it's great to have you here, the owner of Moonburger. By the way, if people want to call in, please do. Jeremy's take any questions. And, right, Jeremy?
I would love to.
331-9255. We also have Jess Davis here who's trying to keep me under control. So how are things going at Moonburger? How long ago did you open?
First of all, thank you so much for having me, Rick. And Jess, it's so great to be here with friends. Very much appreciate it. We opened on October 16th, and it feels like about 3 or 4 years ago at this point. But surprisingly, only 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot has happened since then, and it could not be a more exciting time.
I have to say, and Jess, I'm going to let her take more of this because she knows, she's been there firsthand, and although I have Moonburgers delivered to me.
Yeah, because he doesn't wait in lines, Jeremy.
I don't blame you. I get it.
I've seen the lines have cut down a little bit. One of the things that County Executive Pat Ryan, one of my favorite people who had supported Ulster County Tourism for the time I was there, one of the first things that Pat told me was that somehow we got into discussions about waiting lines in restaurants, and he has a 20-minute wait. He won't wait more than 20 minutes, and I'm kind of the same way. But I will say this, the wait at Moonburger was worth it, according to Jess, correct?
Easy for you to say, Rick.
Yeah, if you were getting it delivered. Absolutely. And I mean, honestly, there was something really fun about the line, to be honest. It was an experience, right? Like
you were there like the first day or so.
Well,
right?
of course I was, because I had the privilege of like driving by every day and watching the transformation happen. And then also I got to meet Jeremy as it all started to kick off. So I was like, wow, we have a cool person who cares about local people in the community that is going to make this really neat one-off drive-through, one-off for now until it's all over the country, drive-through style and Jeremy told a couple of us the concept from the get-go. So like I
Sworn
knew.
to secrecy.
I literally was sworn to secrecy, and I had friends who were like, this is ridiculous that you're not telling me. And I'm like, I can't. Because he would know who revealed it. But I knew that it was plant-based concept, and I loved his idea. And when Jeremy talks about, I want you to talk about like how the burger is made, because when he gives you the description of each layer and each element and ingredient, it's like It just sucks you into the Moon Burger, really does. But I have to say, according to our friend Michelle, the cheese is one of my favorite. On the receipt, I don't know if you've looked at this. It says cheese, $2.50
for our cheese sauce.
Cheese. So she goes, I want some cheese. But you're just fun, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jess.
So tell us about the burger, please.
What we have ventured always from the beginning to do with Moon Burger is to create a burger that is absolutely delicious to anybody as a burger. Not as a plant-based burger, not as a burger that's made with Impossible, as a burger. And so when we think about, every business when they start out, look at the landscape and, who their competitors are and, how they're going to do something that's different. We didn't look at other restaurants that serve vegetarian or vegan or plant-based burgers. Of course, those are peers and we love and support them. But what we looked at was how could we create something that the person who is going to any number of the restaurants up on 9W or anywhere else in the country that is enjoying a fantastic burger would come here and say, that is a damn good burger. And so that's where the culinary team came together with building this thing, and what we created, and I'll describe the layers.
Please do.
Is
I could do it in your absence, but I'll have you do it.
So it starts with a Martin's potato roll, Martin's potato bun, which my personal feeling is the best. Yep. Right? It is pillowy, it's moist, it's got a great texture and size. We toast that. And then there are a couple of signatures with Moon Burger that all come together, I think, in what I believe is something really harmonious, and I would love to believe that other people feel that too, is we get that Impossible patty down on the grill, and it's a smash style burger. So this is not a big, thick, steakhouse style burger. This is very much a fast food smashed on the griddle burger. You want it to be sizzling hot. But what we do is we take Vidalia onion that have been sliced really thin, put them on top of that burger, smash them down so the onions get smashed into the patty. The first side cooks. We flip it over. Those onions are now griddling on that flat top, and they're getting nice and charred, and all that onion essence is steaming up into that patty. Cheese goes down on top.
Real cheese.
Melts, real cheese. You always want it totally melted, just falling over the edges of that patty. Comes off, goes onto that bun with a nice piece of lettuce. And then on top, the second piece of the first signature Moon Burger is what we call double onion, right? So this is part A was the Vidalia on the griddle. Part B are the crispy fried onions
which
that
are
then
so good.
Go on top. So that's the double onion. They come together. That is harmony. And then we have our special sauce. That's also a secret Moon Burger signature. And then we have pickles, sliced pickles, which I think just provide a really nice contrast to the meat. And the cheese and the richness and cut through it, and that's the whole thing.
You sold Dan. He wants one.
So,
have you had one?
Yeah.
Haven't had a chance yet.
Oh, we're going to have to hook you up.
Let me know when you can come by.
No excuse, Jeremy.
Yeah.
We'd love to welcome you.
I think I got to have Moon Burger tonight. So do you see what I'm saying, Rick? I mean, all those layers, all those levels in one burger, and it's just, it's good. Now, have you had the cheese yet?
Don't think I've had the cheese yet.
The cheese sauce.
Oh, you have to have them in cheese.
Well, the fries. Look, I met with Jeremy. He knew that I was in tourism, and I was kind of sworn. I didn't tell you this, but we were kind of sworn to secrecy too.
100%.
Don't even tell me that you knew the secret.
I don't know the secret. No, I don't know the secret. But I met with Jeremy, and I've had the Moon Burger, and I'm a meat person. Couldn't tell the difference. It's just like a regular great burger. And, I'm not a big onions person, but the way that the burger has kind of assimilated the onion in there, love it. And the fries are really good. But the one thing, and besides the food, the one thing that I'd like Jeremy to talk about is when I first met him, he talked about, look, everybody thinks, this is being an attraction for out-of-towners, people coming off the thruway, and it's a good location. But he really had the local community at heart and was talking about, this is kind of something that I'd like to do for the community and get for the community, correct?
Absolutely. That I think that anything that originates in this community needs to think about the community first and foremost, and so that's where I and we as our team put our focus into is creating something that would be both exciting for the community, accessible for the community, and something that could be a contributing member of the community. And so that's one of the reasons that I think one of the first calls that I made was to Jess at the Chamber, and was so excited to engage with the organization. And I got such a warm welcome from Jess, which I am so grateful for. And that was such I think, an important piece of helping us to, as much as possible, be something that would first and foremost be a community gathering place, quote unquote. Right. Can't park, but community thoroughfare.
Just park your quick.
Yeah. And of course, it is wonderful for us to be a place that, as our tagline says, it is a classic drive-through burger stop, imagined for now and made for everyone. And so we want that to have meaning in all senses of that phrase, made for everyone. So this is for the community. This is something people who come from out of town and visit our community can enjoy. People who may just be passing through off the thruway and get off and fill up for gas, or have heard about Moonburger and want to make a pit stop. That's awesome. But first and foremost is, I love this area. I love Kingston. I love Ulster County. I live in North Marbletown, and to have something here that can be something that delights people in our community is the greatest honor for me.
I just want to speak to that because Jeremy joined the Chamber like months and months before the opening. So oftentimes I'll know a new business is coming in and they just want to wait until maybe it's closer to opening and they want to get that ribbon cutting planned. But Jeremy joined the Chamber and then he showed up. He showed up at the new member meet and greets, the business card exchanges. We had coffee, which turned into like a 3-hour coffee date. It was wonderful, just getting to know each other. But he really wants to understand and know and do the right things for the local people and for the community. And so it's not just a talk; it's really a walk. And in the beginning, Jeremy and I will text and I'll check in on him. But in the beginning, I would text him at like noon or something to ask him about the ribbon cutting, and he would answer me at about 11 o'clock at night. That's gotten better now, but he had some pretty intense long days when they first opened. And I just love some of the cool things that you did. Rick, if you haven't waited in line, then you probably haven't sat down on Powell's Lane and watched the lit up spaceship that's been painted, a mural on the building. And as you get closer and closer and you're like, should I take a picture now? Is this a good view? But talk about the project, like how you reconstructed that building.
Yeah, I had been driving by the ice cream castle, what was formerly the ice cream castle, for years, and had ice cream there, had some great stops over a number of summers, and it had been on and off the market for a few years, and I always felt like it was such a great location on this little tiny peninsula between these two quick check gas stations, a place of honor, and so when it was on the market again this past year, I felt like now is the time, and it was such a fun process to be able to reimagine the facade. I mean, what you ultimately have is a 100-year-old house that was turned into, and I think it was a number of things over the years, but the most recent, of course, was the Ice Cream Castle, which I think was about 2010 or 2011. And Jay Giuliano and his family had created that, and I think they had a lot of vision. I think it was awesome, like very charming, to take this house and then put this castle motif on it and make something totally new. So I wanted to honor that idea and take it then a couple steps into the present and hopefully into the future, where we could continue to evolve that building. But what you have inside is a house. And I did actually hear from a woman on Facebook had commented on a post early on when we opened, and said that it was her great grandmother's house.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and so I am trying to get some of those stories to find out more about the history of the building. But I think it's such a cool thing. But yes, we have wanted very much to take every aspect of the traditional burger business, the traditional drive-through business, and figure out how we can add a new and exciting element that feels very much here and now and feels something that will be something that can carry into the future. And so, certainly with the design of the building, but then also too, when you think of convenience with a drive-through, I think we sometimes sacrifice customer experience in some way, right? Your average drive-through don't necessarily think of the most delightful experience. They're great, and and you get your food, and it's sort of very, it's like it's utility. But how could we both make the experience convenient, but also something that feels fun to do in some way? And so I love hearing Jess say that sitting on that long line was fun, and I'm happy to say that we have not had any average waits that are longer than 20 minutes in a long time, which is great. But interestingly, I was mentioning this to Jess the other day, which I'm so happy for, is the average number of cars that we do every day is significantly higher than in those first couple of weeks when we had a line down the block. And it's two things. It's both our team and our processes have gotten faster, of course, as we have gotten into it and refined things. And then also, too, I think we just get over the course of a day kind of a steady adding to a line of 3 or 5 or 8 cars where we get one out and then the next one comes in, which works perfectly. Because at the end of the day, we understand that most people would prefer not to wait in a line of 15 or 20 cars, for 30 minutes or 40 minutes if they can avoid it. And so we're very happy for the pace. But yes, so in terms of kind of thinking about the building and aspects of the business that would be interesting to people, I think we try to look at the visual piece, but then also some of the interactive pieces. But at the end of the day, the most important thing for me is the experience that our guests have with our team. And to me, our team is the most important part of the business, and that's where everything that we do starts. If we don't have a team that feels supported and comfortable, that enjoys coming into work, that feels part of what we're building with Moonburger, nothing else works. And so I'm so moved that the number of times I've heard from guests in comments directly over the past 6 or 7 weeks that they've just loved interacting with our team is the best piece of it all for me, because I just love that we can create some kind of human connection that people and that's meaningful to people. And so that's kind of to your question just about building this, and that's kind of where it all starts.
I just want to you just made me think about, so the very first day that Moonburger opened, I was definitely going to be a part of it in my mind, but then I thought I've already had it, let the others go. And so I'm watching the eatery group because, Ulster Eateries, and everyone's writing, I've been in line for an hour, but it's just plant-based, no thank you, and all these comments. And I'm on the phone with my friend, and I said, I really should just drive down there and see what's going on. She said, just stay home, it's Saturday night. So I said, you're right. So I'm on the phone with her, and she says, what are you doing? I said, nothing. She goes, you're getting in your car. I can hear you. And I said, well, yeah. She said, you're going to Moonburger. She's like, that's it. We're going together. I'm going to stay on the phone with you. We're going to chat about anything and everything. And so I hopped in the car. She was online with me the entire time. I was the second to last car because I hesitated till after 8 o'clock at night. And I got up to the front, and it was so funny because they were so busy and there were people outside and it was raining. Like, it rained every Saturday for the first month he was open, I think. And Jeremy peeks out. He did not see me, and he says, oh, I just want to thank you for your patience. And he saw my face, and he's like, oh, it's you. And I was like the last car of the night. There was one behind me, and It was just like to see him living what he speaks, because he was right there in the thick of it, and he was thanking that last car for their patience, but it was just me. So that was just, I can see that in my mind. It was just a really cool experience. And, I just think it's a part of history where I do think you're really going places, Jeremy. And I think lucky for us that you chose Kingston right at that exit 19 to be the first Moonburger. And I think the sky is the limit for you. The moon is the limit, whatever.
Jeremy, I'm sure that you were gathering concepts and things like that along the way before you came up with the name. Now, the name is a huge, huge hook. It's a very memorable and very simple name. How did you come up with the name?
Sure. Thank you so much. I think I love thinking about this. Is in keeping with the idea that I just mentioned of kind of wanting every aspect of this business to feel both very familiar to folks and comfortable, but also new and exciting, is to create something that would both have some immediate connection with people, but also create a question mark. And so with Moonburger, I think everybody kind of knows the blank burger construction, whether it's Smash Burger or In-N-Out Burger or Bear Burger or there's Burger King. There's so many restaurants that exist with that construction, so I do think it is very familiar to folks. But one thing that I personally just love about the Moon is that it has such wide-ranging meaning and significance to people in so many different ways. For some people, the moon symbolizes love. For some people, it's human potential and possibility, the moon landing. For some people, it's magic and outer space or astrology or any number of other things. And it can be so many different things to different people. And that's why, for Moonburger, Made for Everyone is whatever it is to you, that's awesome, and we love that. And so then putting the idea of the moon together with something, the kind of very familiar burger, I think does carry that idea of something that is a little, it creates a little bit of wonder. And that's what we wanted to do with it. And then, for me personally, I love the outdoors. I love being in nature. There's nothing I love more than being out at my house in Marbletown and just walking around through the woods and being out early in the morning, being out at night. And to me, that's always just had a nice, there's something nice, I think, about connecting, my interest, my passion, who I am with this whole thing.
Yeah, the moon is always there.
It is always there.
Did you have a marketing background? Because I know that in the packaging, I don't know if you still do it or not, you had a QR code, and then if people hit the QR code, you could see places, local places to go and eat the burger, the local park or something. Was that how you started out, or?
So yes. So I did used to run a public relations firm. And so that was my background. And we worked quite a bit in the hospitality and restaurant space. We have lots of those QR code stickers, those bag closures. We've gotten away from using them recently because of because we are prioritizing the speed of the drive-through.
Sure.
And I'll tell you, everything is a challenge, right? Everything is a challenge with every new business. But a particular challenge is just keeping that speed up, keeping up that efficiency, but then also maintaining order accuracy. I mean, that's something that every drive-through, every fast food restaurant in the world struggles with, and it's a constant challenge. So that's something that we are continually working on, and we're going to get better. But the speed, even just taking that little sticker off, putting it on the bag, the 5 additional seconds that adds to each car, each order, is something that we're trying to figure out how to both do that and then balance the efficiency. But yes, we wanted to create a gateway to our community, both for folks who live in this community that could potentially discover something new, and folks who don't live in this community that could discover something new. And so the idea of Moonburger, our tag, go anywhere, and our cups say where to, that is both a literal where to. You are driving in your car through this drive-through, and you literally have to drive somewhere, and it's an idea. Where to, I think, is a big question, a feeling. And so that QR code is, when you scan it, you can pull up Google Map directions to some wonderful places within 10 minutes of the restaurant or so to go and enjoy your Moonburger.
For people who don't know, it's on Washington Avenue between the 2 Quick Checks in Kingston. Your hours, I believe, is 11:30 to 9 p.m.
Correct.
Monday through 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
And I have to say I've sampled the fare. Very good. Excellent. And the first time the thing I really like about the Moonburger is, like, you go to some places and I don't know, the burgers are just like big and they're kind of sloppy, and you open it, it's a nice way you package it. It's enough for me. I could eat 2 probably.
You could always get the double patty.
He's just so you know, he's a very picky guy.
Anything else we should know? Anything going to happen in the future?
I hope lots of things. So we have a lot of ideas that we're really excited about. I think we'll roll some a number of things out in the new year, both additions to the menu, specials, and and things like that. Also, other elements around the drive-through and the kind of experience and the interactive element. To date, our 100% focus is just making sure that the core operation to provide a wonderful experience to guests and be a great place to work for our team is our focus. October 16th through the end of the year, certainly making sure that we have that down really well. But I think in 2022, I think we'll roll out some exciting stuff.
Well, thanks for coming in, Jeremy Robinson-Leone, owner of Moonburger. Love to have you back in another 3-4 months. We can talk about your new initiatives.
I would love to.
Jess Davis, again, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
Rick Remsnyder, you always make my Friday sunny.
I don't know about that, but we'll get the blood flowing. Okay, Dan, have a great weekend, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick Remsnyder, for hosting today's fabulous Friday, and thank you, Robert Selkowitz, Jess Davis, and Jeremy Robinson-Leone for coming in and being our guests. Many, many exciting things happening in Ulster County and the surrounding areas. This last programming has been brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at AM 920, 92.5 FM, and on the web at mykcr.org. Join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York, 12402. Together, keeping KCR alive. And thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio, talk radio at its best. Inspired discussions of, by, and for the community. And we invite you to be with us Monday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every weekday. And until our Medical Monday next Monday, 7 to 9 a.m., we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. We now return you to Magic 92.5.